Welcome back to the Daily Dialogue. I'm Alex, and I'm joined by Sophia. Today, we're diving into a place that sounds very cozy, very warm, and very safe, but it might actually be the biggest obstacle in your life. We're talking about the comfort zone.
Hi Alex. You know, it's funny because the name itself is so misleading. Comfort zone. It sounds like a place where you should want to stay forever, like a soft sofa on a rainy day. But in reality, for a lot of people, the comfort zone isn't actually comfortable anymore. It's just familiar.
Exactly. There's a huge difference between being comfortable and being familiar. You can be in a job you hate, or a relationship that's going nowhere, and stay there for years. Why? Not because it's good, but because you know exactly what to expect. The human brain is wired to prefer a familiar misery over an unknown happiness.
That is a powerful phrase, familiar misery. It's like we're afraid of the dark, even if there's a treasure chest waiting for us in that dark room. We'd rather stay in a dimly lit room where we know where all the furniture is, even if the roof is leaking.
It's an evolutionary survival mechanism. For our ancestors, the unknown usually meant a predator or a dangerous territory. So, our brains developed a very strong alarm system: stay where it's safe. Don't wander off the path. But in the 21st century, that alarm system is misfiring. It treats a career change or a new hobby like it's a saber-toothed tiger.
And that leads to what I call the slow decay. If you aren't growing, you're shrinking. There is no such thing as standing still in life. The world moves on, technology changes, people evolve. If you stay exactly where you are for 10 years, you haven't saved yourself, you've actually lost 10 years of potential.
It reminds me of the boiling frog metaphor. If you put a frog in boiling water, it jumps out immediately. But if you put it in lukewarm water and turn up the heat very slowly, it stays there until it's too late. The comfort zone is that lukewarm water. It feels fine today, it feels okay tomorrow, and then one day you wake up and realize you've wasted your best years doing something that didn't matter to you.
That's terrifying, Alex. But why is the first step out of the zone so incredibly hard? I've felt this myself. Even when I know I need to change something, like starting a new fitness routine or speaking up in a meeting, my heart starts racing, my palms get sweaty. It's a physical reaction.
That's the resistance. Stephen Pressfield wrote a whole book about this. The more important a decision is to your soul's growth, the more resistance you will feel toward doing it. If it didn't matter, you wouldn't be scared. The fear is actually a compass. It's pointing you exactly where you need to go.
So, you're saying we should follow our fear? That sounds like a recipe for a panic attack.
Not just any fear. Not the fear of jumping off a cliff. I'm talking about creative fear or growth fear. The fear of, what if I fail, or what will people think of me? These are the fears that guard the doors to our best selves.
I think social media makes this worse. We see everyone else's perfect results, but we don't see the messy, awkward, embarrassing step one. So when we try something new and we aren't immediately good at it, we feel like we've failed. We retreat back to our comfort zone because at least I'm good at being bored here.
We've lost the art of being a beginner. Being a beginner is uncomfortable. You look stupid. You make mistakes. You're slow. But you can't get to expert without passing through stupid. The comfort zone is where we go to avoid looking stupid.
And by avoiding looking stupid, we avoid being great. I see this with people learning English, actually. They understand everything, they read books, but they refuse to speak because they are afraid of making a grammar mistake. They stay in their silent comfort zone, and as a result, they never become fluent.
That's a perfect example. They are choosing the safety of silence over the growth of communication. But the irony is, the people who make the most mistakes are the ones who learn the fastest. They are failing forward.
Failing forward. I love that. It turns failure into a tool instead of a destination. But Alex, let's talk about the biological side. Does staying in the comfort zone actually change our brain?
It does. It's called neuroplasticity. Your brain is like a muscle. When you do new things, learn a language, travel to a new city, take a different route to work, you are creating new neural pathways. You are literally making your brain younger and more flexible. When you stay in the comfort zone, those pathways become like deep ruts in a muddy road. You get stuck.
So, literal mental ruts. It's no wonder people feel stuck in their lives. Their brains have physically become used to the same repetitive patterns. Breaking out isn't just a motivation thing, it's a rewiring thing.
Exactly. And the longer you wait, the harder the rewiring becomes. But it's never impossible. The key is to start small. You don't have to quit your job and move to the Himalayas tomorrow. You just have to do something that makes you slightly uncomfortable today.
Like what? Give me a level 1 challenge for someone who feels stuck.
Level 1. Go to a restaurant alone and eat without looking at your phone.
Oh, that's actually harder than it sounds. Everyone will think I'm waiting for someone or that I don't have friends.
See? That's the resistance. Your brain is already creating a social danger scenario. But in reality, no one cares. And once you do it, you realize, hey, I survived. I'm okay. You've just expanded your comfort zone by 1 inch.
And if you do that every day, those inches turn into miles. I guess the goal isn't to destroy the comfort zone, but to constantly expand it.
Precisely. You want to make your safe space big enough to include the whole world. But before we talk about the level 10 challenges and how to handle a total life reboot, let's take a break.
I need a break just to think about eating alone without my phone. Laughs. We'll be right back to talk about the courage muscle and how to stop being your own jailer.
Stay tuned. And we are back. Before the break, Sophia, you were having a mini existential crisis about eating lunch alone without your phone. But that's actually a perfect metaphor for the safety trap. We use distractions, phones, busy work, Netflix, to numb the feeling that we are stagnant.
It's so true, Alex. When I really think about it, my phone is my digital comfort blanket. Whenever I feel even a tiny bit of social awkwardness or boredom, I reach for it. I'm avoiding the discomfort of being present. But if I can't handle 5 minutes of boredom, how am I going to handle the huge stress of changing my career or moving to a new city?
Exactly. You're training your brain to be fragile. Every time you escape a small discomfort, you make your courage muscle a little weaker. To break out of the comfort zone, you have to do the opposite. You have to engage in voluntary discomfort.
Voluntary discomfort. That sounds like something a Stoic philosopher would say. Like taking cold showers or sleeping on the floor?
It can be. But in a modern context, it's more about social and emotional discomfort. It's choosing the difficult conversation over the easy silence. It's putting your work out there before you think it's perfect. It's basically telling your brain, I'm in charge here, not my fear.
I've noticed that when I do something scary, like the time I did that public speaking gig, I feel a massive rush afterwards. It's like I'm more alive. My colors are brighter, my food tastes better. Is that just adrenaline?
It's more than adrenaline, it's self-efficacy. It's the psychological realization that you are capable of more than you thought. Every time you step out of the zone, you update your internal map of who you are. You go from, I'm a person who stays safe, to, I'm a person who handles things.
That's a huge identity shift. But Alex, let's talk about the cost of safety. We always talk about the risk of change. What if I fail? What if I lose money? What if I look stupid? But we rarely talk about the risk of staying the same.
That is the most dangerous calculation of all. People think staying where I am is the zero-risk option. But that's a lie. The risk of staying in a soul-crushing job is the risk of waking up at 60 and realizing you never lived. The risk of staying in a comfortable but dead relationship is the risk of never knowing true intimacy.
It's a slow-motion disaster. It's like a ship that never leaves the harbor. Sure, it's safe from the storms, but ships aren't built to sit in harbors, they rot there. Their wood decays, their engine seize up. A ship is only alive when it's battling the waves.
That's a beautiful image. And we are the same. Humans are goal-oriented organisms. We are designed to solve problems, to overcome obstacles, to grow. When we stop doing that, we don't just stay safe, we start to feel depressed, anxious, and restless. A lot of modern unhappiness is just the soul complaining that it's bored.
So, if someone is listening and they feel that restlessness, that itch that tells them they are meant for more, how do they differentiate between a good risk and a bad risk? Because I don't want people to just quit their jobs tomorrow without a plan.
Great point. A bad risk is impulsive and driven by ego. A good risk is aligned with your true north, your core values. If you value freedom, but your job requires 80 hours in a cubicle, leaving that job isn't a risk, it's a rescue mission.
A rescue mission. I love that. You're rescuing your future self from a life they don't want. But how do we build the resilience to handle the messy middle? You know, that period after you leave the comfort zone but before you reach the success part.
The void. That's where most people quit. They leave the zone, it gets hard, they feel lonely or confused, and they run back to the safety of their old life. To survive the void, you need micro-wins.
Small victories to keep the momentum going?
Exactly. If you're starting a business, don't focus on making $1 million in the first month. Focus on sending 5 emails today. If you're learning a language, focus on speaking for 5 minutes. These small wins provide the dopamine your brain needs to keep going when the big goal feels far away.
It's like breadcrumbs in the forest. They show you that you're still on the path, even if you can't see the house yet. And I think we need to talk about community, too. If all your friends are comfort zone people, they might try to pull you back in.
Crabs in a bucket. When one crab tries to climb out, the others pull him down. Not because they are evil, but because his growth makes them feel guilty about their own stagnation. You have to find people who are also climbing. You need a tribe of growth.
This is why podcasts, books, and mentors are so important. They provide a mental environment that supports change. If I spend all my time listening to people like you, Alex, I start to think that change is normal and safety is the weird thing.
Guilty as charged. I want to normalize healthy discomfort. I want people to feel allergic to boredom. Because on the other side of that fear, on the other side of that shaky voice and sweaty palms, is the version of you that you've always wanted to be.
So, let's wrap this up with a final thought. If you're at a crossroads right now, and you're looking at that safe path and that scary path, what is the one question you should ask yourself?
Ask yourself this: if I stay here for another 5 years, will I be proud of myself, or will I be disappointed? Your future self is the only judge that matters. Don't let your current fear rob your future self of their story.
That's a heavy question, but a necessary one. Will I be proud? I think I'm going to go home and ask myself that about a few things in my life.
Me too, Sophia. Me too. It's a constant process. You never finish expanding your comfort zone, you just get better at being brave.
Well, thank you for being bravely uncomfortable with me today, Alex. And to everyone listening, take that one small step today. Wear the weird outfit, call the scary person, or just sit in the park without your phone.
Start small, but start now. We'll see you in the next episode of the Daily Dialogue.
Stay curious, stay brave. Bye.